Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm happy to see so many people still, even though the hour is quite late and you may have attended similar sessions. I hope that you can hear me and see me well. If there are any technical problems or any disturbances, please let me know. And I would like to start with hello. I would like you to tell you something about myself, about my experience, maybe in teaching. I used to teach in high school for quite a few years, also in junior high school. And I had a lot of opportunities to deal with different emotions of my students. 2 years ago, I decided to change the direction of my career, let's say, and I started working at Gdańsk University, where I teach English to students of different subjects of study. And I have also wanted to start my own school and my own language school, and that's what I'm trying to do now. The things that I'm going to discuss today are connected with emotions, as you can guess from the title of my presentation. Well, the first issue will be just connected with different kinds of emotions. Then I'm going to devote some time to language learning strategies and the way they are interrelated with emotions that are experienced by the students. And also, I'm going to talk about mindfulness, which I think is quite important and is quite neglected in Poland. And I hope that we will come to some conclusions at the end of the presentation. Yes, I would like us to start with a short, let's say, game connected with emotions, of course. I'm going to from Paris. Wow, thank you. Nice to see. Nice to see you. Be with you. So I would like you. Hello. I would like you to go through this link. Yes, to use this link, and please tell me what kind of emotions do students feel in the classroom. What kind of emotions do they come with to the classroom? Okay, so we have quite a few emotions mentioned here. Okay, anyone else? Any other? Okay, expectations. Well, okay, so maybe they might be a little bit apprehensive or something like that. What we can see here, they can be tired, yeah, they can feel fear and nervous, anxious, sadness, some negative feelings, yes, insecure and bored. So majority of them are actually negative, but of course, I hope you can see this screen. Yes, you can see the result of your your suggestions. Okay, let's go back to my presentation. Okay, and of course, students might feel different kinds of emotions, and they mostly probably feel anxiety. They might feel different kinds of anxiety connected with different tasks that they are required to do. Of course, if they are just starting to learn English, they might also feel some curiosity, but also, let's say, again, anxiety connected with something new in their lives. And there are different kinds of anxiety mentioned in different studies by some scholars. So, for example, okay, you can't probably you can't see everything. So there can be communication apprehension. So let's say kind of fear, so kind of being worried about communicating with other students in the group. So being worried or apprehensive about what they shall say, whether they are going to be correct, whether they are going to have, whether maybe they might make some mistakes and so on. There is also fear of negative social evaluation. So we always want to make good impression. Yes, so our students also have this kind of fear. Yes, that their peers might evaluate them. Their peers might then even think that they are, I don't know, not too good at English, etc. Yes, or maybe what a silly person that is. Yes. And of course, a very important issue is test anxiety or exam anxiety. So something that also probably you remember from your education and so on. So each time you make a test, they might feel anxious, yes. And if it's a very serious test, a very when you require very vast knowledge, they feel even more stressed, even more anxious. And if, for example, during the lesson you just decide to make a short test, yes, then they don't feel this this anxiety for a long time, but still it might be very destructive for them. Yes, it might lead to some serious problems later on. And well, there's also fear, one of also very serious emotions. Something that may have different impact on different students. So they may have some problems with communication. They may have some problems with expressing their thoughts and so on. And it may also sort of impede their progress in English. Yes, they progress in any kind of actually subject. It is also very important to mention that there is a kind of correlation between anxiety or fear and silence in the classroom. Yes, so we often experience silence, I think. Yes, when we ask some questions, when we want the students to express their opinion on some subject, maybe take part in a debate, etc., and then there is silence. Yes, or they are not looking straight at us; they're just looking at their desks, and well, it is for sure correlated to fear and anxiety experienced by the students. And also, now imagine a situation when there are those different people in the classroom, those different students with their emotions, with their feelings, their attitude, and so on. And then into the classroom comes a teacher who also has different emotions, different feelings, attitudes, motivation, and so on. And the teacher, for example, is angry because something happened at school. I know the teacher was told something about, by the headmaster or her headmistress. And what can happen to those different students if you, for example, come into the classroom and show that you are angry? Okay, I know that for let's say in theory, our personal feelings, our even feelings, emotions experienced at work, yeah, shouldn't interfere with our teaching. But sometimes it is like that. It is very difficult to leave your own emotions outside the classroom. So now imagine what happens when you come into the classroom and you show some negative emotions. Yes, the students who have some other problems, who have some other also have some negative emotions. Yes, they feel even worse. They feel frustrated. They feel insecure. They don't feel maybe respected. It's difficult for them to make any progress. Yeah, so that's why it is very important to be aware of the students' emotions, but also it's very important to leave your, especially negative emotions, outside the classroom. Another thing that I would like to mention is emotional disorders. Especially, well, I'm not a specialist, I'm not a psychologist, yes, but from practice, I can say that, well, it's my personal observation that with time, year by year, there are more and more students with different problems, with different, let's say, psychological issues, yes, some maybe emotional disorders, some phobias, depression, and so on. It is as if there are more and more people who are not given help at some point, and their mental state gets, well, worse. Yes, so we also have to pay attention to that. We have to take that into account. There might be students with, for example, depression, and we really have to try to help them in a way, yes, not, of course, in a psychological way. We cannot also mention that that we have such knowledge during the lesson, yes, but we should really try to help them in a way, try to help them feel welcome in the classroom, feel good in the classroom, because when they feel good, when they feel that they are respected in the classroom, they might become more self-confident, maybe. They might like this place, okay? They might know that in this lesson, they are equal with other people, and they might feel happy to attend your lessons. So I think that it is really, really important to create good, positive environment for the students to learn. Yes, that's something that I really believe in. That's well, from my practice, it's something well, that you cannot really omit, that you cannot neglect. Another thing that I would like to talk about is language learning strategies. Of course, when you think about, well, strategy, yes, it's a kind of plan, a kind of process of planning something. Yes, learning strategy is, of course, a process of planning something that you are going to learn. And when it comes to language learning strategies, for sure, you are aware, you have for sure heard about Rebecca Oxford, who put those language learning strategies into some kind of hierarchy. Yeah, so she divided them into direct and indirect. And I think that both of them have some connection with emotions. Yes, so, well, emotions are very important in our lives, and they kind of shape different things in our lives. So they can have influence also on, for example, with the way we learn, the way we comprehend new aspects of, for example, of language. So those direct language learning strategies are memory strategies. So those which are connected with learning new material, storing it, yes, accumulating it. Then cognitive strategies, so comprehending, understanding the things that we learn. And compensation strategies. So whenever we have some problems with understanding something, we try to compensate. Yes, we try to figure out the meaning, for example, from context, etc. And then there are indirect language learning strategies, metacognitive ones, which are connected with assessing our progress. Yeah? So the students try to assess how well they have mastered some aspect of English, for example. Affective strategies directly connected with our emotions, our attitudes, motivation, and social strategies. So these are mostly connected with interaction with among students. More in detail, yes, we have memory strategies, so creating mental linkages, for example, putting words into context, creating some sentences, applying images and sounds, so that's connected with learning the pronunciation, for example, yes, but you can also sometimes learn by imagining something, yes, so applying image connected with something, and reviewing well, so just being able to shape the way you review the material, the learner reviews the material. Cognitive strategies, so practicing receiving and sending messages, of being able to communicate, analyzing and reasoning, so for example, analyzing the material and, for example, guessing the rule behind some examples, creating structure for input and output, so of course, again, communicating. And compensation strategies, so for example, guessing intelligently, overcoming limitations in speaking and writing. So all of these, those direct strategies are somehow shaped by our emotions, yes, by the learner's emotions. If they feel not welcome, if they feel anxious, they fear your lessons, it will impede the process of learning. It will harm their abilities. Yes, if they are too stressed, it will be impossible to learn to comprehend new material. Of course, sometimes we can have, let's say, constructive stress. We can have good kind of stress, yes, motivating stress. So some people are able to even change those negative emotions into something that motivates them to become better and to maybe prove that they are able to do something, that they are able to produce something. So there is never a rule, yes, a straightforward rule. What happens if a student feels, some students may feel anxious and have problems with learning, yes, but some students may be anxious and just excel at English. So there is never a, let's say, straightforward rule. Now those indirect strategies, so metacognitive, centering your learning, linking new information to what we already know, yes, arranging and planning your learning, so that's obvious, evaluating your learning. What I mentioned earlier is that students also are able to to assess their learning. They know that they have mastered something, some part of the material, and they are able to write, for example, the test well. They are able to use, I know, passive voice or conditionals. Affective strategies, for example, lowering your anxiety. So the students may, for example, try to find some amusing aspects in something, yes, something amusing. So try to, for example, joke about something. Maybe there might be some word which evokes some associations that are funny. So then it can help to also to relieve the other students who feel anxious. Yeah? So the student who finds some joke hidden in something will lower his or her anxiety, but also the other students may feel better at that moment. Encouraging yourself, so trying to find some encouragement, trying to find some motivation. So students also are able to do something like that. They can, for example, maybe try to encourage themselves by sorry, I just got distracted. So they may encourage themselves by, for example, thinking what they can achieve. Yes, if they learn English well, they can, for example, go abroad. They can attend. They can take part in the Erasmus project, for example, or they can study abroad. Yes, they can, for example, take some exams like IELTS or TOEFL, and then study abroad or go abroad to get some other experience. For example, work abroad and have this use this later on in their career, for example. Taking your emotional temperature. So this is also connected with discussing your feelings. Yes, sometimes students may even feel like discussing their feelings with the teacher. So it is also very important for us to be able to give them support to, if they decide to trust us with such personal issues. It is very important to give them support to devote some time to them. Yes, not to just leave the classroom and tell them just to come another day. Yes, because they if they really feel that they want to trust us, they feel that they can trust us. It's very important to be there for them. And the last one, the last category, social strategies. So asking questions. Yes, so for example, asking for clarification, etc. Cooperating with others, so cooperating with other students. Maybe they have some group work, so it is important for them to be able to manage this kind of cooperation, to manage such a task. And empathizing with others. Students often empathize, yes, with one another, because they sometimes try to help one another in the, let's say, illegal way. Yes, when we ask one student, another student might want to help the other one. Yeah, but also they really can help one another. They sometimes want to cooperate also with somebody who is maybe more fluent, but also they sometimes help the other students who are not as good as them. Yeah, so these are the issues that are, well, connected with those different strategies. And what else? And of course, those strategies are somehow, all of these strategies are somehow interrelated with emotions. Yes, so it is when students are overcome with emotions, it is maybe too difficult for them to find the right way to comprehend new material, to work with other students, and so on. So it all depends, of course, on the person. It all depends on the student. But it is a very important task to be able to help them to feel respected, to feel good in the classroom, to create this positive atmosphere that I mentioned a few minutes ago, yes, that they know that they can really be themselves, they can make mistakes, because that's part of learning, and it should be emphasized, I think, that they shouldn't be afraid of making mistakes, yes, that we can learn from mistakes, and that it is also important, I think, to show them that their opinions are important. So then they will also feel more secure, they will feel better, they will feel more welcome, and it will also help them, I think, shape their attitude to life. They can help them shape their opinions about different issues. Of course, it depends what age your students are, but I think that it's really quite an important issue to take all of these things into consideration, even though they might seem obvious, but I think it's really important. Okay. Now, another thing is what we teach. And so I'm going to move to mindfulness now, but I would like us now to I would like us now to do another short task. So please click on that link, which I pasted into the chat. And it's maybe a little bit, it may not be, let's say, too challenging which the answers that I suggested. And what should we teach? Yes, there are some of the suggestions, and of course it might be, let's say, tricky, but you can also suggest some other things in the chat. So please, if you have some other suggestions, please share them in the chat. And if you feel that it's anyone else, anything, any other suggestions? Yes, thinking skills, being able to think, being able to think for themselves, yes, not to copy what someone else says. Okay, I suppose that we can. Okay. Okay. So, and how to study, of course. Yes. Okay, but I would like us to think about one of the things that we should teach. In my opinion, it is mindfulness. It is really connected with relieving stress. Yes, it's kind of self-awareness, paying attention to the present moment, to our emotions, to the present emotion, state of mind, and so on. It is rooted in Buddhist practice, but it has also become part of school programs or curricula, for example, in the United States and in Canada. And it is something that maybe could be also incorporated in Poland, if not in the curriculum. Maybe it could be just something that we do from time to time to help our students relieve stress. It is also quite important for teachers, I think, that when we are mindful, we can be more aware of our own emotions, and we can be more prepared to deal with them. We can try to relieve our own level of stress. We can try to understand also, well, better understand our learners, their feelings, their, sorry. And we will be more aware of their abilities, yes, what we can really demand from them. And for learners, of course, it alleviates stress, and it might be important for some exams or tests. It, of course, depends how much time we have for that. But maybe when we do some kind of repetition, etc., we can also include something connected with mindfulness. So just stopping for a while, analyzing our feelings, thinking about the way we perceive some issues and so on. So I suppose that it is one of important issues that we should take into consideration. And well, and what else? One thing that might be connected with mindfulness, because when the pandemic began and we were told to start teaching from home, we were told to have only online lessons. I decided that I have to do something to relieve the stress of my students, to help them deal with it, because I think that nowadays we are overstimulated. Yes, we are always we have access to the internet all the time. We have it somehow glued to our palms, in our mobile phones, of course, and we are always occupied with something. Yes, so we listen to the radio or watch Netflix, or we search the internet for something. So it is. I felt that it is very important to help the students try to think about something else. So not spend too much time with the internet, or not so much time doing really hard work like learning new thing. So I gave them tasks connected with finding time for yourself, listening to your own thoughts and so on, and or a task that was really that required also using the internet, but in a more relaxing way, maybe, because going to museums, galleries, and even traveling was not possible. So I gave my students a link to Google Art and Culture. Yes, if you just put it into the browser, you will find it. And I told them to find, for example, an interesting place and visit it online. And I told them that if you want, you can share your ideas, you can share your thoughts about it with me, but you don't have to. If you don't do this kind of homework, you will not be punished. Yes, so don't worry, just feel free to do it. It might be useful, it might be funny, it might be interesting. maybe you will find something that no one else have ever thought about, and etc. So I think that it is just one of the ways that we can help our students to do something that is not so strictly connected, for example, with learning grammar and so on. So just finding something that they can do just for pleasure. Yeah? So that they can really become more positive, have more positive attitude. And well, my final thought is that when you show your students that you are positive about them, they will be positive about you, yes, and the subject that you teach. So that's something that I have always tried to put into practice, and I think with success. And that's why I wanted to share it with you. So that will be all from me. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them. I have here also a list of the references of the different sources which I used. So if you are interested, I can later on show them to you or recommend something. So okay, yes, so someone here mentioned not only doing homework. Yes, not only doing homework, do something for pleasure also. Okay, I think that in Poland, I know I'm not sure about the situation in other countries, but I think in Poland, or maybe in the States also, we are a little bit too occupied with thinking about grades, about evaluation, about the results, the exams after when they are leaving our school. And even though it is important, or we have to do it, as we have to prepare our students for different exams and so on, I think that it is really important, it is really crucial to, at least from time to time, give them something more relaxing, give them something that they can do for pleasure. They can, for example, do something that is not connected so much with learning English, let's say with the, I don't know how to say it actually, but it's not, for example, connected with grammar. Yeah, it's not connected with learning new vocabulary. It's not even connected with practicing so much with practicing being correct, but it's something that they will develop them as humans. Yeah, so that's what I really want to put into practice also. And even if we are studying grammar, if we, for example, are doing something connected with, let's say, conditionals, yes, we can still find something amusing or give amusing examples. I know also from practice that if we are talking about some grammar issues, but we are, I give them some examples that are sort of funny, or the examples that are connected with our classroom, with our group, and they find it sometimes they find it amusing, or they find it more engaging. They find it related to them, and I think that then it is easier for them to learn. Okay. So then maybe it is it requires from you to spend, well, some time on explaining why they are doing that, why they should, as let's say homework, they should visit some museum, virtually visit it, and for example, recommend, if they find it nice, if they find it interesting, recommend it to other students. I think that we can also try to incorporate some gamification aspect, yes, so or some kind of interaction among other students, so that they recommend something to the others and so on, but do not pay so much attention to being correct. Just being able to just express what you want, even though, of course, being correct is necessary, yes, because later on they are going to take some exams. But as I said, when the students feel good in our company, in the company of the other students, it will be more beneficial for them. They will learn more, and they will learn more eagerly. Are there any other issues that you would like to mention, or maybe you have some questions? Okay, thank you very much. It was my first time experience having a presentation at IATEFL Poland. And thank you very much for attending. Thank you very much for cooperating. I hope to see you one day again. Yes, that would be the best. Thank you.